What is Ubisoft stock value at today? Oh my god!
Wait a minute. How did this happen? We're smarter than this.
What's up, space pirates? This is your admiral, the chronically charismatic Dr. Disaster. And boy, it's hard to imagine that anyone would dare to lack confidence in Ubisoft, considering that they have super cool shit like lasers in Assassin's Creed Shadows.
And sarcasm is like a second language to me.
Yeah, somebody added a mod to make the rifles into lasers in Assassin's Creed Shadows, and still, that's not the most objectionable thing pictured in this video that comes off as anachronistic and just plain stupid. The makers of Assassin's Creed Shadows went out of their way to embrace left-wing culture war shit, abandoning anyone who doesn't like that sort of thing because they operated under the mistaken assumption that the people who supported hippy-trippy kumbaya retellings of history, like what we got in Assassin's Creed Shadows with Yasuke being a samurai, they assumed that this was the overwhelming majority of their fans and that anyone who opposed it was just a tiny sliver of a minority.
The facts you are basing your belief in are wrong.
Well, Ubisoft has been so damned out of touch with gamers that none of their big projects over the past year and a half or so have panned out. They spent over $1 billion, something like $1.3 billion to give you a more precise estimate, but they spent that on the likes of Skull and Bones, Star Wars Outlaws, and Assassin's Creed Shadows. And so far, on those three games, they have managed to make back an estimated $300 to $400 million.
We're doomed!
Doomed! So with that in mind, take a look at the stock price of Ubisoft. This is the chart showing the past 5 days. In that time period, they've lost about 15% of their value. And if you go back as far as 1 month, which this chart shows, they have been on a steady decline towards oblivion ever since it was made official that Ubisoft lost control of their Assassin's Creed franchise and gave it over to their newly formed studio that is shared by Tencent. Last week, we discussed how it was amazing that the stock value had finally plummeted below $8 per share, even though that amount had traditionally been their rock-solid foundation. But now, Ubisoft stock has sunk well below even $7, and if you look here, the market cap for Ubisoft is now barely hovering over $1 billion, meaning that as a company they are pretty close to not even being a $1 billion publicly traded entity any longer. Ubisoft and their ass-kissers out there spent months trying to tell us how popular Assassin's Creed Shadows was. They thought that headlines like this were super clever, but now I'm wondering,
how's that working out for you? What? Being clever? Great. Keep it up then.
Alright me hearties, make sure that you hit the like button on this video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. We just passed a new subscriber milestone, so it is time to ask the obligatory question.
How many assholes we got on this ship anyhow?
Yo! We now have 171,000 space pirate a-holes in this Buccaneer crew, and as is the custom on this channel, with every 1,000 subscribers, I add a new ship to the fleet in order to house the new guys. This time, one of you suggested that we go with the Nirvana from the old anime Van Dread, which works well because that was already a pirate ship. But if anyone out there has recommendations for future ships, drop them into the comment section and I will add them to my long list. Super chats get bumped to the top of that list, and also, for your reference, I will add an alphabetized list of all the ships already in the fleet to the description of this video. But in any case, thanks for being here folks, it means a lot.
I knew it. I'm surrounded by assholes.
In any event, let's take a gander at this Ubisoft situation. A minute ago, I talked about the market cap of the company's stock being just barely above $1 billion. Now, if you aren't familiar with what that terminology means, the market cap is the number that you get when you add all of the shares together that are owned for this company spread out across the world. Basically, it's kind of a valuation of a company. What this means is that Ubisoft is now barely considered a billion-dollar asset. To put things into perspective, EA is also a massive company, and they have a market cap, as you can see here, of around $50 billion. Or look here at Take-Two Interactive. They have a market cap of about $46 billion. At one point, Ubisoft would have been at that kind of tier, but now they've obviously fallen off a cliff. And as I said the other day in another video, one of the things holding the studio back is the fact that I can't name anything new coming out from Ubisoft that has anyone excited. The only new game coming out that's noteworthy at all is the Assassin's Creed Hexa game, which basically sounds like an Assassin's Creed game in name only. It's actually the story of a witch, a literal witch with magic powers and everything from about 500 years ago. Her mother was apparently killed by bad guys, so she becomes an assassin, and considering who we are talking about here that is making the game, you can certainly expect that this will be a feminist fever dream, and that right there is why everyone is abandoning Ubisoft stock in droves. We all know that whatever they make, they are going to screw it up. They seem incapable of making games that people actually like, despite the fact that they have 18,000 or so employees working for them. And now, to put things into perspective even further, the other two companies that I just discussed, EA and Take-Two Interactive, both of those companies are worth significantly more than Ubisoft. They have multiple games coming out that people are excited about, and yet they have significantly fewer employees working for them. That just goes to show how poorly mismanaged all the assets at Ubisoft have been. EA has around 14,000 employees, and Take-Two has around 13,000. So Ubisoft has more employees, but they are cranking out far less value. And that is what leads to headlines like what we are seeing here in this article from Stocks Today. It says, Ubisoft shares continue steep decline amid major corporate overhaul. And then down below it reads, Ubisoft Entertainment's stock is experiencing a sustained downward trajectory, with shares closing at 6.68 euros after declining 3.5% in the latest trading session. This marks the third consecutive day of losses for the video game developer. The equity has registered a substantial 13% decrease over the past week alone, while the 10-day performance shows an even more dramatic drop of nearly 19%. As the stock price deteriorates, significant corporate transformations are unfolding within the company. French financial authority AMF released a notable disclosure on November 3rd concerning ownership thresholds and substantial shareholdings. Market observers often interpret such regulatory filings as potential precursors to major ownership changes or strategic investment developments. Concurrently, Vantage Studios officially commenced operations on October 1st. This newly established subsidiary now oversees Ubisoft's most valuable intellectual properties, including flagship franchises Assassin's Creed and Far Cry. The entity also serves as the operational vehicle for the company's partnership with Chinese technology conglomerate Tencent, which acquired a 25% stake through a 1.2 billion euro investment. But in other words, a disclosure was just put out concerning the company, which suggests that there may be some big news coming concerning the management of the company in the near future, and with that news, the stock has dropped like a rock. And you know, there are people out there who might think it's a bit gauche to point a finger and say, "I told you so," when it comes to situations like this, but I'm not a classy guy, so I don't give a shit. I'm gonna say it. I told you so, Ubisoft. We told you so. This is the quintessence of the old axiom, go woke, go broke. Star Wars Outlaws could have been a popular game that sold really well if they didn't make the main character an ugly-looking cat lady to try to appeal to a virtually non-existent female Star Wars audience. Assassin's Creed Shadows could have sold absolutely amazingly if they had just played it straight and gone with a Japanese male ninja as the protagonist, as everyone envisioned for years and years when dreaming about this game. But no, Ubisoft couldn't do that. They couldn't play it straight. They decided to push their progressive, kumbaya, multicultural dog shit into their games without any thought of who their real audience might be, and they have paid for it dearly. Though honestly, not dearly enough. Not yet. The Guillemot family has done everything they could to make sure that they stay in charge of Ubisoft, even after reducing the company to a speck of what it once was. Just a few years ago, Ubisoft stock was trading for over $80 per share, but as long as the Guillemots remain in charge, I strongly doubt they will ever recover to those glory days. But I'm gonna leave it there. Drop some mockery of this fallen company into the comment section below, and we will talk there. Thanks for watching, me hearties. If you haven't already, your Admiral is inviting you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the crew. Life as a space pirate may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty of booty.